morning, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, April 9th, 2012 meeting of the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners. We have a full quorum this morning. All three members are present. And we'll begin with the flag salute. Commissioner Schulte.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of the minutes of April 2nd.
I second that.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 2nd. Are there any changes, questions, corrections, comments? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, do you want to break out the two proclamations?
We have
them as
we
a
have the
separate
proclamations separate on the
item. We'll just do them.
on the agenda. So if you want to make the motion to approve those, sir.
I move to approve the two proclamations.
I would second then.
We have two proclamations, motion made and seconded. Will the clerk please read those? Or no, Commissioner Averill will read those into the minutes, please.
The first proclamation is on the April as Disaster Preparedness Month. A proclamation, whereas Lewis County has experienced significant natural and man-made disasters in the past, and scientific evidence indicates the county remains vulnerable to natural and man-made disasters in the future. And whereas the citizens of the county should prepare themselves to be self-sufficient for at least 3 days following a natural or man-made disaster. And whereas the loss of life and property can be significantly reduced as appropriate disaster preparedness measures are taken before, during, and after a disaster. And whereas county agencies and employees should be prepared so they can continue to provide essential public services after a disaster and support the state's disaster response and recovery mission. And whereas the importance of practicing preparedness will be highlighted during the month of April as the Washington State Military Department, Lewis County Sheriff's Office Division of Emergency Management, businesses, educational institutions, service organizations, and other city, county agencies promote the value of preparedness activities. And whereas the county is encouraging Lewis County citizens to participate in the statewide earthquake drill on April 25th, 2012, now therefore be it resolved, we, the members of the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 2012 as Disaster Preparedness Month in Lewis County, and we encourage all citizens to increase their knowledge and awareness of proper safety measures to follow before, during, and after a natural or man-made disaster, done in open session this 9th day of April 2012, Board of County Commissioners. Ross.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ross McDowell, Lewis County Sheriff's Office Division of Emergency Management, Deputy Director. The purpose of the April Disaster Preparedness Month is to encourage citizens to be more prepared for any kind of a disaster that may occur. We're asking people to actually start looking into the three-day, three-way. We're looking into the 72-hour emergency supply kits, not only for your home, but also for your office and for your vehicle, because there is no set time or set location when any kind of a disaster may occur. The region in Lewis County has had experienced over 30 natural and one man-made large disaster in the last 15 years. 12 of those now have gone to presidential declarations. I have unfortunately been around for 7 of those presidential disaster declarations, and would like to see those end, but there's no guarantee on that. So with that, disasters are inevitable, the outcomes are not. We can prepare for these. We can do what we can as government, but with cutbacks and with other issues that are involved in this, we do need the citizens to step up and be a little more self-sufficient. Small changes in the routines can lead to less stress and nervousness about the future for us and for our citizens. Most damage from natural disasters can be avoided by making slight changes now before the disaster occurs. The theme for this year's disaster preparedness program is what to do to make it through. is the theme. So we're hoping people do, with this proclamation, actually take to heart what has happened around the world recently with the earthquakes and tsunamis and things that have happened, that it comes around, and we've been very fortunate up here so far. Thank you for the proclamation.
Ross, could you elaborate a little bit on a man-made disaster?
Man-made disaster is usually a hazardous material up here. You also would have anything that would be considered a weapon of mass destruction or a terrorist act. Ours we had here was in 2000, and it was a large hazmat spill. We are redoing, actually at this point right now, our emergency service function number 10, which is a hazardous material function. Because we do not happen to have a hazmat response team currently in Lewis County, we're looking at doing an MOU with Joint Lewis McCord to have their hazmat team come down, or one from Cowitz County that could come up and help out with that. But that's the one we had.
I just wanted to clarify that because man-made disasters seem like we don't want to make man-made disasters very bad.
No, we don't want those, no.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been unfortunate in that we had a number of back-to-back disasters starting in 2006, and unfortunately, the good side of that was that we got pretty good about responding. The problem that we've got now is that while we've had some concerns about weather, we haven't really had anything go bad for about 4 years now. And we know in the business that the longer we go without having to react to a disaster, the less prepared the population is. So it's very, very important to check your preparedness and to practice it.
Very much so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross.
The second proclamation is before the Board of County Commissioners, Lewis County, Washington, a proclamation celebrating 100 years of Girl Scouting and designating 2012 as the Year of the Girl. Whereas March 12, 2012 marks the 100th anniversary of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, which began in 1912 when Savannah, Georgia native Juliet Daisy Gordon Lowe gathered 18 girls to provide them the opportunity to develop physically, mentally, and spiritually. And whereas for 100 years, Girl Scouting has helped build millions of girls and women of courage, confidence, and character who act to make the world a better place. And whereas today, more than 50 million American women are Girl Scout alumni, 3.3 million girls and adult volunteers are active members, and Girl Scouts is the largest member of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, a global movement comprised of more than 10 million girls in 145 countries worldwide. And whereas core programs around science, technology, engineering, and math, environmental stewardship, healthy living, financial literacy, and global citizenship help girls develop a solid foundation in leadership. And whereas, as part of the 100th anniversary celebration, girls and adults from Girl Scouts of Western Washington are pledging to live forever green, participating in monthly challenges to explore their impact on the environment and learning ways to lessen their footprint. And whereas Girl Scouts is committed to assuring that all girls can participate in Girl Scouts regardless of their financial circumstances, and whereas the Girl Scouts program continues to evolve to address the changing societal challenges faced by our community through innovative programs such as Girl Scouts Fostering a Future, which reaches girls living in foster or kinship care, Girl Scouts Beyond Bars, which reaches girls whose parents are incarcerated, Girl Scouts Skills for Life, which serves girls who are living in public housing, often recent immigrants or refugees, and Girl Scouting in the School Day, which partners with schools to reach girls from low-income schools. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners, do hereby applaud the Girl Scouts of the United States of America for its 100 years of leadership and expertise as the voice for and of girls, the Girl Scouts of Western Washington for providing the local support for Girl Scouting in our community, and the Girl Scouts of our Lewis County for their courage, confidence, and character to act to make our world a better place and proudly proclaim 2012 the Year of the Girl. Done in open session this 9th day of April 2012, Lewis County Board of County Commissioners. And now we'd like to hear from one of our scouts here.
My name is Veronica Hayworth. I'm from 109 Pine Drive in Shalis. I have been in Girl Scouts for the past 13 years, which is the only amount of time that you're allowed to be a Girl Scout. I've earned the 3 major awards that a Girl Scout can earn. In 2007, I earned my Bronze Award by creating bulletin boards for my church, Sunday school. And then in 2009, I earned my Silver Award by remodeling a room at Safe Family Ministry down Jackson Highway. And then as one of the parts of earning my Gold Award, I designed the Playfair Clear the Air park signs that are at all the local parks that remind people to smoke away from the parks from the little kids. And then I just earned my Gold Award this last year in August. And so I have created a video of my project. I wanted to do something that impacted my high school, WF West. And so I remodeled several of the rooms around the theater because they have fallen in disrepair and they weren't very organized and it was really hard to maneuver around them. And then I painted a 20-foot by 6-foot inspirational mural in the hallway outside the theater. And then I also created a scrapbook that shows all the shows the theater has done in the past like 30 years. And so that's usually out during our shows. So if you come to the show, you'll be able to see that and go back and it's like, oh, that's what they did years ago. So I will now show you my video.
go ahead and, thank you very much for that presentation. That was very good. I'd like to call for the vote on the proclamations, and then we'll administer those proclamations to those people. I think we will, I call for the vote. All in favor of passing these two proclamations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
And we'll have to sign the proclamations, but if you can stick around, we'll get you a copy of your proclamation. And want to thank you very much, Haley, for a wonderful presentation and the work that you do in Girl Scouts. It's great.
Thank you. I want to step back a minute. I didn't call for public comment. I neglected that part of the agenda, so I would go back to that. Is there anyone out there in the public that would like to make a public comment before we proceed to the consent agenda or the notice agenda? Seeing none, we'll move forward to the notice agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the notice agenda items 3 and 4, resolutions 12110 and 12111.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the notice agenda. Will the clerk please read those items into the minutes?
Item 3, call for bids for the 2012 countywide base stabilization project. Bids are due by 11 a.m. on Tuesday, May 1st, 2012, to the clerk of the board. This is resolution number 12-111. Item 4, notice of hearing regarding the second 2012 budget amendment for current expense and various funds. Hearing will be held on or after 10 a.m. on Monday, April 23rd, 2012. This is resolution number 12-112.
Morning, Commissioners. Tim Elsey speaking to item number 3 on your agenda, call for bids for the 2012 base stabilization project. And I hate to follow that presentation because I'm not going to be anywhere near that good. But
Can you sing thank you?
you would thank me not to sing.
You could sing happy birthday or something. That'll work.
This contract will allow Lewis County to improve various roads by pulverizing the roadway and stabilizing the base with cement. The project is listed as number 1 on Lewis County's previously adopted 2012 6-year transportation improvement program. And you've heard me say that a lot this year because we've bid a lot of projects that are number 1. It's part of the 3R program. The cement-treated base project planned for construction in 2012 will allow Lewis County crews to complete approximately 6.8 miles of road reconstruction at the following locations. Klein Road from milepost 1.22 to 3.47 in the Randall area. Meyer Road from milepost 0.985 to 1.986 near US 12 and the I-5 intersection. Rosebrook Road from milepost 0 to milepost 4.492. South Military from milepost 2.87 to milepost 4.20 in the Winlock area. We'll also be doing some reimbursable work for other agencies in Lewis County, which will include Skate Creek Road from milepost 15.7 to 17.2. That's a U.S. Forest Service project. And Godfrey Road from milepost 0.00 to 0.24, and that's in the city of Mossy Rock. Sealed bids for the 2012 countywide base stabilization project shall be submitted to the clerk of the board of Lewis County Commissioners on or before 11 a.m. on Tuesday, May 1st, 2012, and will be opened on or after 11:30 on May 1st, 2012. Bids submitted after 11 a.m. will not be considered for this project. The contract will be available for viewing on Lewis County's website after successful execution of the bid call. Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Donna Truman, Budget Director. I'm here to post notice item number 4, Resolution 12-112, for the second 2012 budget amendment for current expense and various funds, increasing expenditures in the amount of $728,026, offset by revenue of $481,678, and the use of fund balance in the amount of $246,348. This notice was published in the East County Journal on April 11th and the 18th. Copies of the amendment will be available after April 23rd for review and can be obtained from the Budget Fiscal Department in room 209.
Just I'd like to note that when we do the budget amendments, we generally are refining them all the way up to the point that we come to the meetings and sometime in the morning of the meetings. So when the notice goes out, it says subject to change, so that we can get the nearest one, because we try not to do this too often during the year. We usually try to keep them to 3, but we sometimes end up with as many as 6 changes during the year, depending on how things change, because we get funds that we didn't expect, and we sometimes have expenses we didn't anticipate. This meeting is going to be as a part of the regular Monday morning meeting when we hear this particular topic on April 23rd. The bid call that we made earlier is also in this room, but it's not part of the County Commissioners meeting anymore. We do that on Tuesday. And so on May 1st, sometime after 11:30, the Public Works Department will gather in here in this room and open those bids. But it's done outside of the board meeting. Thank you.
Any further comments on the notice agenda? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor of passing the notice agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda, items 5 through 10, resolution number 12113 through 12118.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Will the clerk please read those items into the minutes?
Item 5, resolution number 12-113, approval of warrants and payroll for payment. Item 6, resolution number 12-114, ratify consultant contract for engineering services for the Packwood Large On-Site Sewage System pre-design plan. Item 7, resolution number 12-115, award contract for the 2012 gravel proposal project. Item 8, resolution number 12-116, award contract for the 2012 chip rock and snow sand proposal. Item 9, resolution number 12-117, approving a grant agreement with Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item 10, resolution number 12-118, approving contract with Lewis County Shelter Program for transitional housing program.
Item 5 is Resolution 12112, is our weekly approval of warrants. This approves 2 special purpose warrants for the Vader Water System for $172.16, and 210 warrants issued by the Auditor's Office for $390,369.98, totaling $390,542.14. This also approves our monthly payroll of 447 automatic deposit checks totaling $1,207,074.48, and 133 payroll warrants for net pay and 62 payroll warrants for benefits and deductions, for a total of $3,129,839.45.
Tim Elsey, Lewis County Public Works Director, speaking to item number 6 on your agenda, resolution number 12-114, ratify the consultant contract for engineering services for the Packwood Large On-Site Sewage System pre-design plan. A need for the public sewage system for the Packwood community was established when Lewis County Health Department restricted businesses in the Packwood community from expanding due to the lack of adequate space or resources for on-site sewage systems. Lewis County was awarded a $24,000 Community Development Block Grant, planning only grant, to complete a large on-site sewage system, or LOS, pre-design plan for the community of Packwood, executed under contract number 11/6411100047 with the Department of Commerce on August 31st, 2011. The project will include an evaluation of the service area, wastewater flows, and treatment alternatives to determine a preferred system and the feasibility of a Packwood community sewer system. The result will be a pre-design report submitted to the Washington State Department of Health for approval. Lewis County advertised for the needed consultant services and has met the state publication requirements pursuant to RCW 3980-030. Statements of qualification were received from Gray & Osborne, Incorporated in Seattle, Washington, Spink Engineering LLC in Richland, Washington, and Territorial Landworks Incorporated in Missoula, Montana. Qualifications were scored and telephone interviews were conducted. Lewis County Public Works determined that Territorial Landworks Incorporated was the best qualified firm to provide the needed engineering services for this project. A contract was negotiated and signed with Territorial Landworks Incorporated on March 28, 2012 for engineering services not to exceed $22,800 to be completed by June 30, 2013. The remaining grant funds of $1,200 will be used for payment of Department of Health fees for the on-site inspection and pre-design review. We're requesting approval of the resolution to ratify the execution of a contract between Territorial Landworks and Lewis County Public Works.
Just like to clarify, when we say that we're ratifying, we're actually approving something that's already done. This was a request for qualifications that went out, and they were reviewed by the Public Works Department, and then the contract was negotiated, and that was approved by the Public Works Director. But because of its size, we have to ratify those, and that's what we're doing this morning.
Speaking to item number 7 on your agenda, award of contract for 2012 gravel proposal project. This project is listed as number 1 on Lewis County's 2012 6-year transportation improvement program. The contract will allow Lewis County to purchase crushed surfacing top course for the 2012 3R program. This material purchase is part of the proposed cement-treated base roadways planned for construction in 2012 and will allow Lewis County crews to complete approximately 5 miles of road reconstruction. A call for bid was made on March 19, 2012. The project was advertised for 2 consecutive weeks in the East County Journal and the Chronicle. The project was listed on Lewis County's website as well. Public Works received 5 responsive bids for the project on April 3, 2012. Good Crushing Incorporated out of Toledo, Washington provided the lowest responsive bid of $189,442.22. The engineer's estimate was slightly higher than that at $192,375.30. The lowest responsive bid is below the engineer's estimate. We're requesting approval of the resolution to authorize an action to execute a contract between Good Crushing Incorporated and Lewis County Public Works for the 2012 gravel proposal project, and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the same. And item number 8 on your agenda, award contract for the 2012 chip rock and snow sand proposal. This contract will allow Lewis County to purchase chip rock for the 2012 3R program. This material purchase will allow Lewis County crews to complete 75 miles of chip seal on county roads, 5 miles of bituminous surface treatment, or BST, and 1.8 miles of chip seal BST for local governmental agencies through the reimbursable agreements that we discussed earlier. That 1.5 miles is for the Forest Service and 0.3 miles is for the city of Mossy Rock. Snow sand is required for annual county road maintenance during ice and snowstorm events. The purchase of snow sand is included in this contract because this material is a byproduct of the chip rock production. Purchasing both products under the same contract will lower unit prices for both materials. A call for bid was made on March 15, 2012. The project was advertised for 2 consecutive weeks in the East County Journal and the Chronicle. Project was also listed on Lewis County's website. Public Works received 4 responsive bids for this project on April 3, 2012. Sterling Breen Crushing Incorporated out of Chehalis, Washington provided the lowest responsive bid of $334,235.09, which was below the engineer's estimate of $341,370.80. Requesting approval of the resolution to authorize an action to execute a contract between Sterling Breen Crushing Incorporated and Lewis County Public Works, and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the same.
It might be interesting to note that the county engineer and staff always make an estimate of what a project is going to cost when we go out for bids, so that we have something to look at when we come back. And the rule is generally that a contract should not be more than 20% more than the estimate, or we would probably reject it and go out again. During this recession period, we've been quite fortunate in that, at least at one period during the recession, a lot of the bids were coming in 20% below and allowing us to do much more and with projects and more projects. Unfortunately, what we're seeing now is that at least there's been some recovery in this area, which part of it probably because we're coming on to summer. But the bids are getting a lot closer to our estimates than they used to be.
It's getting a lot tighter and harder for us to do our job. So, but that's good. It's good for the economy. It's good that the prices are coming up in many ways. So thanks.
Just one quick comment on that. It's no fun being a contractor going out there and losing money on every job, so appreciate the fact that they're more in line, actually.
Hi, Michelle Sorley, Lewis County Public Health and Social Services, speaking on item number 9, resolution number 12-117, approving a grant agreement between Department of Housing and Urban Development, and also item number 10, resolution number 12-118, approving contract with Lewis County Shelter Program for Transitional Housing Program. The first one, resolution number 12-117, is the contract between Lewis County and HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, contracts with Lewis County to subcontract with Lewis County Shelter Program to provide a transitional housing program. This is a federal contract, and it extends the current McKinney program for the fiscal year May 1st, 2012 to April 30th, 2013. 9 families will be placed in scattered site leased single-family housing and apartments. The grant funds will be used to lease property, operate the housing, and pay the salary of 1 full-time equivalent position conducting outreach and case management services. The total of this grant is $108,814, with $272,000 will pass through to Lewis County Shelter Program, with $2,542 staying with Lewis County. That's the first one. The second one is resolution number 12-118, and this is the contract for that $106,272 that is going to be passed through to the Lewis County Shelter Program to provide the services for homeless families. And homeless, defined by HUD, is staying in a shelter, living in a vehicle, or on the streets, and families are defined as parent or parents with minor children or child or children. And this contract extends the current contract, and $53,011 are for leasing costs. And then the services, in the services category, which is the outreach and case management, is $40,668, and $10,051 for operation costs, which is an outreach to landlord position, with a total of $106,272. Any questions?
These two resolutions are connected to each other. There are a lot of areas where the county doesn't actually run activities, but rather money is provided down from either state or federal funds, and then we contract with a provider in the county to actually provide the services. And housing is one of those areas. So the first resolution is the passing of the money to the county, and it does take monitoring on the part of the county of the contracts, and so we do take a very small portion here, about a little over $2,000. $2,500 to provide the administrative cost, and then the remainder of the money in this case is going to the Lewis County Shelter Program, and they also have a small administrative part equaling ours to administer the program here, but they're the ones that actually are out on the ground dealing with the homeowners and getting the folks into the housing. So it's a very important program for the county, This, like many of our health and social services program, are done through providers rather than through county staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Any other comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor of passing the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have one bid opening. Give us an explanation, Tim.
Morning, Commissioners. Lewis County owns a 2.61 acre tract on Highway 603 between Napavine and Winlock. The property is heavily wooded, vacant land. Resolution 12-069, passed by the Board of County Commissioners on February 27, 2012, declared the intent of the board to sell the property in conformance with Lewis County Code 3.30 and instructed the Public Works Department to examine the property, make a recommendation as to whether the property was surplus to the county's needs, and if so, determine the minimum bid amount by appraisal, and then report the findings to the board. Resolution 12-05, passed on March 12, 2012, did find the property surplus and directed the County Public Works Department to advertise the property and for to be sold at auction with a minimum bid of $54,900. Today we're here to open those bids and see if we've achieve that goal. And it does not appear that we've received any bids for that property.
We're stuck with it, huh?
We're stuck with it. This now gives the commissioners the authority to negotiate for the sale of that property.
Yeah. We've been stuck with it for some time, have we not?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just, this is a piece of property is out on 603, closer to Winlock, and it has trees on it, right? Approximately. One of our concerns is that the trees are getting old. And as you know, during the last storm, we had a lot of fall down. And so it'd be better that someone owned the property that could maintain it. So we'll continue to look. Right, Larry?
We will continue to look. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we have a couple of hearings that are going to be done at this time. Mr. Zandell, would you like to come forward and make the presentation along with Gary, I guess? Are you two working in tandem here, or how are we doing this? I am not mumbling.
Oh, you can come. You can sit with him.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Gary Zandell, Lewis County Auditor. Every 10 years, the Constitution requires that the federal government conduct an census, and that was completed in 2010. The results were finally delivered to us a year and a half later. As a consequence of that census, our state requires that we redistrict. This is the fourth time that I've been involved in redistricting. The very first time I had a map on the basement floor that was about 3 feet high, 15 feet long, and working on hands and knees, we accomplished the redistricting of our county. This is all in preparation of throwing a very large bouquet in the direction of Lewis County's GIS department. Working with them, and sometimes for them, This job has been made immeasurably easier. Special thanks go to Gary Hurley of the GIS department, whose many hours in writing legal descriptions and verifying various district lines are much appreciated. Speaking to the very first agenda item, I believe, are there two?
Yeah, we broke them up into two, Gary.
Okay.
We were going to do
The first one then I'll speak
precincts.
to is the division of the county into state legislative districts. Heretofore, at least the last 10 years, Lewis County was contained wholly within the 20th legislative district. Our state has a redistricting commission who negotiates between the Republican and Democratic caucuses. They pick representatives, 2 each, and 1 nonpartisan tiebreaker. They finally came up with a plan for the state, and that plan also impacted Lewis County because it split Lewis County into the 19th and the 20th legislative district. There's a map on the wall behind me that's been up for a couple weeks, which shows the proposed breakout of the 19th out of the Lewis County geography. We had to divide, I believe, correct me, Gary, was it 8 or 9 precincts along a line that divides the 19th and the 20th. And after we do that, then staff in my office has to pull the registered voters out of that population and also place them in the correct levy codes and the correct districts. Following that, we have to send out voter registration cards for each registered voter that is impacted by that change. Will entertain any questions.
So these people have to re-register as voters in those particular precincts? They have to re-register?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay, but they,
No, we will lift them.
you just move them into the new district?
Yeah.
You're going,
We're in the process of doing that now.
and Gary, you'll be sending out cards, notices to people who are changed. They'll get new voter registration cards showing which legislative district they're in.
That's
as
right.
well as their precinct.
And also the impact, many precincts had to be changed. I will use Commissioner Schulte's area as an example. Doty precinct no longer exists as a named precinct. Most of their folks went into the 19th and into what we call Mowerman precinct out near PL. And so the balance of the Doty precinct was renamed by a geographical name that we founded, and is now Elk Creek precinct. And we did this several times.
I heard that Elk Creek doesn't have very many voters in it.
No, it doesn't.
It unfortunately goes south from PL all the way to the Wahkiakum County border, and it's mostly trees. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the 19th now extends essentially from our western county line, south and west of PL, to rural Chehalis along Highway 6, and then meanders south along 603 down to the border of Cowlitz County, barely bypassing Vader.
Just so there may be some folks that are in here. It was necessary during this process because of the divisions that were caused by the new legislative districts to take many precincts and change their boundaries. So they were altered, and then the creation of some. But the precincts involved, there are 23 that Gary had to either alter the precincts or create. They include Adna, Clequedo, Crago, Curtis, Dryad, Elk Creek, which is new, Emery, Eveline East, Fair, Harmony, Kelly, I can believe that's new, isn't it? Klickitat, Mowerman, Mellon. This is one I think that catches that little area on Nix Road that is not in the city of Centralia, but completely surrounded by the city of Trail.
That's correct.
Centralia. Mesquill, Newaukum, Prescott, Roswell, Somerville, which I believe is new, Stearns Creek, which I also think is new. Stillwater has been split into an east and a west, and Urquhart, and finally Vaness. So 23 of them.
I believe Urquhart is a name of a street in that geographical area, as well as a former county auditor.
So, a lot of changes.
Any further questions for Mr. Zandel? Then we will close the question and answer and ask if you would like your previous comments incorporated into the record, sir?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes or no? Okay, we'll move on to hearing. Are there any further questions or comments on the redistricting plan? Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll close the hearing on the voting boundaries in Lewis County and call for a motion. Do we want to approve both these at once, or do we want to separate them? I think we need to separate them out.
Well, we went ahead and separated by hearing, so why don't we go ahead and approve them separately? I'd move to approve Resolution 12-119, altering precinct voting boundaries in Lewis County.
I'll second that.
The motion's made and seconded. Will the clerk please read that into the minutes?
Redistricting, altering precinct voting boundaries, Lewis County, Washington. This is resolution number 12-119.
And Mr. Chairman, I would, as a comment, certainly want to thank Gary Hurley and the GIS folks. Is this, Gary says he's indebted to you, and certainly is. It's wonderful that not only we have this, but you folks are so adept at using the system and making a job like this a lot easier, and it can be really, really difficult. This is going to be a little bit traumatic to people that are going to get notices of change. That is something that is inevitable after a census, but we will do the best through Gary's people to get word out to all the folks, and this has to be done rather quickly, because in May 16th, I guess it is, the 15th or 16th, we open. The 14th, we have
30 days from now.
30 days from now, candidates will be signing up for elections, and those will be in these new precincts when that primary is held in the first week of August. Actually, because of our mail out, we start in July with that election. So this all has to be put in place and everybody notified before the election takes place.
I too would like to mention something. I'm more than proud of our GIS department, and they've done a lot of things that people do not recognize that they do. With a rather small department, I think you guys do an outstanding job or performance on a general basis and providing the information that's needed out there. I think we're the envy of a lot of counties. I talk to other county commissioners, and they wonder how they're going to do this stuff, and I say, well, I think we've got it all figured out. So. To go through the major change that we went through with splitting the district, splitting the county into the two districts and stuff, that was really a complicated mess, and we appreciate that. So kudos to you all. Thank you. We'll call for the vote on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, sir. Next hearing.
The next agenda item, of course, is the equalizing the 3 county commissioner districts. In this county, we have 3, obviously, and there are also about 3 basic criteria that we use and are required to use. One is that the population in each of the commissioner districts has to be as equal as possible. 2, the area has to be as compact as possible. And 3, it has to be contiguous. We have done so with the altering of the 3 commissioner districts by giving the 3rd district 1 more precinct, which was formerly Agate Precinct, and District 2 gave up Adna, and now Commissioner District 1 has that. 1, 2, and 3. The only problem with this map, it shows how contiguous they are. It doesn't show the 3rd district, which goes out about another 50 miles east. So, but the boundaries there are quite visible if anybody wants to look at the map. We are within just probably within 30 people of having each commissioner district as equal in population as possible. Following the hearing, if it's you pass this proposed plan, we will also then change those folks in Agate and Adna and place the voting population into their respective new commissioner districts, and so send those folks new voter registration cards also.
Questions? Any questions? And hearing none, I'll ask that your comments be incorporated into the record for the hearing and open up the hearing on the county redistricting. Incorporate the auditor's comments into the hearing and ask for any comments from the public or from the board. I would have gladly given up some area.
It is.
Instead of adding more, I would have gladly given up some area, but that's.
This is one of the problems that predominantly the population of Lewis County is along the corridor with the, of course, the city of Centralia, which is, what is it? No, we're now about 18,000 in the city of Centralia, and there's another almost 8,000 in the city of Chehalis out of a population of 75,000. We're one of the counties that has more people in the unincorporated area than the incorporated area, about 67% of the population. So it does spread it out, but the closer you live together, the smaller the districts are, and you can see by those maps up there that the 1st and the 2nd district are substantially smaller. In the 2nd district, that whole southeast corner south of PL is all trees, so those folks are along Highway 6 and along the freeway as well. Lee, on the other hand, gets to get everybody from White Pass all the way down into the area south of Winlock and Vader. So it is a very big area. If Lee could get the trees to vote for him, he'd be in pretty good shape. Bill likes some of those trees down in that area south of PL.
Trying to educate them.
I think as well. We actually looked at 8 versions that Gary made of our commissioner districts. One of them was really unique. We looked at it for some time and we're trying to figure it out, and Gary was sitting there chuckling when I recognized that somehow Sears District, in which I live, was in the 2nd district. And you're Doty or Dryad? Dryad. Bill's in Dryad, and it's now in the 1st district in this plan. So had we chosen this, I'd be running for 2nd District and Bill'd be running for 1st District. But interestingly enough, when it met all of the population requirements, and Gary was suggesting that Lee could bargain for what plan would work out best. I think that the one that we finally settled on of the 8 is going to have fewer changes to people, to be a little bit easier for Gary to get the notice out. Agate Precinct, which used to belong to the 1st District, runs along Centralia Alpha Road from North Fork north to the border with Thurston County. A lot of trees in it. Most of the folks are in that Chehalis area that make up that precinct, and that is now going over to Lee in the 3rd District. And in order to bring the 1st District up to speed, it was necessary to transfer Adna District out of Bill's 2nd District and put that into the 1st District. There are a few other little border changes that take place because of the Highway 6 being the borderline now, but those are the predominant and larger changes that take place, and we will be off to that for 2012 and then the next 10 years here in Lewis County for our commissioner districts.
And now it's my understanding that these take effect when we pass them, and so they will be in effect in this election in 2012.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Just in case you're wondering, the legal descriptions on these changes occupy 10 single-space pages of the legals that the GIS department had to put together to make this thing work. So it was no small task. Any further comments? I'll call for the vote.
Did we close the hearing?
Oh, I better close the hearing. Close the hearing and we'll read the resolution into the minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution number 12120, altering the commissioner districts.
I second.
Clerk, please read that into the minutes.
Redistricting 2012, altering commissioner district boundaries in Lewis County, Washington. This is resolution number 12-120.
Any further comments? All in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that concludes our business for today, and I'd move to adjourn.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. What you going to do if you're going to?